I'm big on lists. I
Mhm.
like to create a list of to do so that I can reference it at the top of the day and just go down, prioritize the order. And this will help somebody. This is a suggestion from Major's book. Create your list of to-dos the night before you call it a night. Go to sleep. Enjoy the rest. When you wake up, do your morning routine of gratitude to your maker for the day. Have that conversation, that meditation. But then, after you've done that, go to your list and see if the priority order still makes sense. And then start to commit to it. You don't have to commit to having everything checked off. But when you put it in priority space, what you start to find is one, it declutters your mind congestion. Like it declutters the thoughts that you try to keep up in the top of your mind on, okay, I remember to do this, gotta remember to do this, gotta remember to do this. And it clears out all of the excess stuff that does not connect to getting the job done or being productive. And it leaves room, and you start to see that you actually have room to accomplish a lot more when you just put it onto paper or put it on your phone. But I love lists, Eunice. I love to
Mhm.
be able to check it off and say, did that, did that, did that. And sometimes I don't get everything done, but when I see it, I don't feel as defeated when I can just move it to the next thing, the
But
next
here's the
day.
thing, that's the
Yeah.
power. When you can see it, you can see some way, somehow on Broadway. I can see it. A
Mm.
list of being intentional about your day, about your moment, about your month, about your week, about your year, about your life. You have to see it first, right? So
Hmm.
now can I tell my story about the house and seeing something?
Please do. Please do.
No, but because when you said I can see this on Broadway, I can see it. I know that's not a throwaway phrase for you, right?
Right.
I know you can see it. I know that you've accomplished what you've accomplished to this point because you saw it before you got there. That's the
Come
only way you
on.
got there because you already saw it, right? When
Yeah.
you were in Houston with a funny name, you already knew the
Yeah.
haters gonna have to buy the album, right?
Yeah.
And so you already saw it,
Come on. Come
right?
on. Yeah.
So when you see it, you were like, I already saw this, so I recognize it, right? And so I might not go to where I think it's gonna be, but I will recognize it when I see it. Okay, this is about
Yeah.
to be powerful for you, right? Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
doing the
Let's
house.
go.
I'm wanting to surround myself with things I like and love, and I'm trying to expose myself to art. I've never really put art up in my home because I don't really like replicas and I don't want to get something everybody has. And so I've just been kind of researching Black artists, Black women artists. And
Mm.
there's one name that came up because she has a collection that keeps showing up on my timeline with Ruggable. Her name is Justina Blakeney.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not familiar with her. So I'll go to her Instagram page. I start following her. I start following her um, showroom page, which is called Jungalow. I'm looking at her architectural digest videos and very colorful, very bohemian, very, bright. And I'm not usually, that bright of a person, but I like the aesthetic over there. And I'm trying to think, what could I do that's kind of like that? I like the way it looks for her, but what would I do and feel comfortable with? Okay. So let's say that was 2 weeks ago. The following week, I am at Home Depot getting some paint, and right next to Home Depot is this place called Crestwood Pickers. It's like an indoor flea market, and I
Yeah.
love that kind of stuff. I love cruising through other people's stuff and junk because it's like, ooh, they didn't want this or didn't need this or whatever. Okay, so as
Right.
I'm cruising in this flea market, that I had never been in this one before. I had been in a similar location in another city, and I'm just strolling. I'm strolling, and I look in one area booth that they have set up, and I look up on the wall and I see a painting and it is signed Justina Blakeney. I had never heard of this person the week before. So I'm like, that's a Justina Blakeney print right here, $35. So I'm like, I obviously am supposed to buy this because I had no idea who this person was last week. And now I'm in this flea
Right.
market that I've never been in and I'm seeing this painting on the wall. Okay, so I buy the painting. And I'm just so excited. I'm like, wow, I can't. So it's not like I went to her website and bought it. It's not like I went to one of the partners she has and bought it. I just was like, oh, good to know. One day when I'm ready to purchase art, I'll look into her again. All right. So
Yes.
I get home and I'm trying to tell my friend, man, the craziest thing, this lady, I'm just the story I just told you. So I Google one of the things I had Googled about her, and I'm showing to, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. But if you're listening, I'm showing an article from Essence about Justina Blakeney, and that's her
Yeah.
print. Okay. And I put a circle around that print behind her because it wasn't until after I got home with my print that I realized that's the exact one behind her in this Essence article. Saw your mouth drop open.
Wow.
So this is in my home. This is in my house now.
Yes.
So what I'm saying to you is I would not have recognized that painting if I had not put in my mind that information. If I had not consumed, if I had not sought out this idea of Black women artists and Black art and, oh, who is this person? And let me follow her. And I like that. If I hadn't put that in, I wouldn't have recognized it the next week. It wouldn't have meant anything to me at all.
That's right.
And so that's why writing lists, writing in your journal, writing goals, staying focused on what you actually want versus what you don't want. Because when you self-sabotage, it's because you're probably overly attached to it going badly. See, I told you. See, I knew that. See, didn't
Or
I? Something
overly
told me.
attached. Or overly attached to it
Overly
going the
attached
way that you think that it
that it
should
has to
go.
go, right? Right.
Yeah.
It's going to go the way it's going to go because I could have gone somewhere. Now, since I have purchased that painting at that flea market, I can't find that print online for purchase. I've been trying to figure out like how much would it have cost? Where could I buy this? I can't find it
Wow.
online to purchase. Okay. And so when I tell you it's a symbol of how I feel right now, and it's an excitement for me of I only saw that in a place I had never been before and didn't realize I was looking for it other than I was looking for it. And so if I'm looking for the good, not saying if I say we talk about love or dating and I say I'm retired, okay, I'm not saying I'm gonna go look for it, but if I am consuming information that confirms it's available to me, shut up, Major. Um, I will recognize it when it is presented.
When it's presented to you.
I will recognize
I think that story is so good. It is going to help a lot of people because it says a couple things. It says clearly what is for me won't miss me,
it. Mm-hmm.
and that you should always remain available for how a thing will come to you. Stay available for how the answer will come
Mm-hmm.
because you saw it, you circled it, lifed, you found it.
And the old adage is one man's junk is another man's treasure. Sometimes we get caught up on what something looked like to somebody else. Somebody won't even go into the flea market because this is all somebody else's junk and trash. I don't want it. They don't want it. I'm saying find your own value in things. Determine what you find worthy for you in your life. And it might not look like what your friends or family or social media is saying is hot. You know, but this is what I like. It's the same way as a single woman. When we were talking about the dogs, I've had so many, man, you and them dogs. I've had people say, you're going to have a hard time getting somebody with them dogs. I say, well, thank goodness. Right?
Huh.
Oh, well, then it's working because why would I not have something I love and cherish in the hopes that somebody else would see value in me without me having the own value in myself? And so many times, oh, well, ain't no man gonna want you. You done already bought your own house. Well, and all the stories people tell you to make you feel
Based
like,
on the limitation of their greatest experience. That is another self sabotage. People often judge based on the limitation of their greatest experience. They
mm,
often make decisions based on the limitation of their greatest experience. They often give advice based on the limitation of their greatest experience. We often choose to believe based on the limitation of our greatest experience. But if you are seeking something that has not been done yet in your life, you can not only reference that which has already happened in your life to be the only confirmation or information to get to the new thing. Open up your capacity of believing and faith and hope because there is always more for your journey than what has been experienced for yourself or someone else. Don't self-sabotage by limiting the possibilities to something that has already happened. Some of us are called, and many of us are called, to be history makers, to be change makers, to see the difference, to see the possibilities, to be trailblazers. You will not reach that if it is confined to something that has already been. Be available for the more. Be available for the more. That self-sabotage, I rebuke it, I cancel it. We're going to cancel it before we end the rest of this year.
Hmm.
We are going to cancel it before we start the new, because we need to get ourselves postured in a way that we prepare for what we pray for. And that's with our discipline. That's with our conversation, our language around what we are and who we are. Stop thinking you know all things, because you don't. You may know a lot, but you will never know all things. It's not how we were designed to ever be. Leave room for perspectives greater than yourself. Only thing you can control is you and how you show up. So let's do our best to show up well, beautiful people.